since we're all here today, we're going to assume that none of us are in the community. And so when we get inside the stadium or inside the church, there are a couple places that we can actually be this morning. There are some of us that are maybe in the stands. We come to church and we like church. We like what's going on. We like to see the events and the things that are going on, but we never find ourselves being a part of those events. And then there are those of us that are on the sidelines and we have a desire to serve. We have a desire to be out and to doing these things, but there's always something that keeps us from volunteering. There's a thought in your mind or a feeling that you get when asked to volunteer that keeps you from doing so. And then there are those that are actually on the field. You know, you're constantly looking for areas to serve. You're daily praying that God will use you in some type of way. And so by the end of the service, our goal is to get everyone from wherever you are to the field. And if you're already on the field, good, stay there. So, we want to do this by what I would like to call defying gravity. Now, gravity is going to be defined as anything that keeps you from moving to the stands, to the field, or from the sidelines to the field. Those thoughts of insecurity, those thoughts of I'm not good enough, those feelings that you get, whatever it is in your mind or in your life that keeps you from being all in or from being what God would have you to be, that's the gravity today that we would like to defy. So, let's go to James chapter 4, verse 7. And it says, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Now, real quick, we're going to break this verse down into three parts. The first part is, submit yourselves therefore to God. Well, what does it look like for me to resist? For me to submit myself to God? Well, let's think about it like this. When your parents fix your plate and they bring you this beautiful plate with all this beautiful food on it, but then there's the vegetable section. And you eat everything except the vegetables. And mom or dad says, but if you eat them, then they're going to help you grow into a strong young man. Or if you eat them, they're going to help you grow into a beautiful young woman. Or if you lived in a house like mine, it was more like, you're not leaving the table until you eat those vegetables. You might as well eat them. Either way, you ended up eating the vegetables. And so you gave in to what your parents thought was best for you. You said, even though these don't taste good, even though I don't like them, I'm going to eat them because they just might do me some good. Well, that's what it looks like when we're submitting to God. Is, Lord, I don't know why you would have me to do this. I don't know why you would have me to play with this person on the playground that's always playing by themselves. Or I don't know why you would have me to sit with this person on the bus that's being bullied all the time. I don't want to be associated with them. But Father, because you feel this is better, because your will is greater than mine, because your way is better than mine, then I will do it. So that's what it looks like when we submit to God. Well, let's go on to the next part. Resist the devil. How do I resist the devil? Well, to resist means to withstand the action or effect of something. Which means that when these thoughts are coming and they're tugging at you, when this gravity is pulling you and keeping you, trying to keep you from being all that you can be or all that God has created you to be, because you have submitted and you know who you are because of who God is, you can now resist those thoughts. You can now push past those thoughts and still be used by God. Now, my favorite part of this verse is the last part, which says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. Now, let's look at the word flee, because to me, that's what gives this the all grand significance. The word flee means to run away from a place or a situation of danger. It doesn't say that the devil will walk away from you. It does not say that he will briskly run away from you. It says he's going to flee away from you, which means that you have submitted yourself to God. And because of who you are in Christ, you can now resist the devil and his temptations, which makes you now a threat to him. You have now become a place or a situation of danger to the devil. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but that kind of excites me. Because me, myself, not weighing 100 pounds until I got to my freshman year of high school, being a small person all my life, never really posing a threat to anyone, now know that I am a danger to the devil. Now, I know the scripture myself. But you see, because we're in submission to God, the all-powerful God, who has planned our lives, who now has a master plan for everything that we do, because we are in line with that plan and not trying to go our own way, not trying to do it our way, not wanting to say it how we want to say it, or whatever the case may be, we now have greater significance than we could ever have doing it our own way. Meaning that down here on the field, you have a greater purpose than anything that you can do up here in the stands. Now let's look at 1 Peter 5, chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Now, notice it does not say devouring. Notice it says seeking someone to devour. That tells me that the devil is playing duck, duck, goose. He is walking around and he's like, duck, she prayed too much. Duck, he's always sharing his faith. Duck, you're always involved in church. Goose, this person here has not yet submitted their will to God, which means that they know not yet of their importance. They do not yet know that there is a greater plan for them. They do not know that they don't have to fit in. They do not know that they don't have to be like everybody else. They don't yet know that it's not about being famous. It's not about money. It's not about these things that the world beefs up. And so because of that, the devil can now pull them this way and push them this way. And they're stumbling through life, not really knowing what's going on or which direction they're going in. But when you submit yourself to God, you are now standing firm on the belief that no matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter what you say about me, God has a plan for me. And there's a place in the kingdom for me. I'm important. I have significance. The things I do for Christ will last. The things I say for Christ will last. And so when the devil begins to pull and tell you that you have low self-esteem, no, I don't. When he begins to pull and tell you that you can be popular over here, well, that's not important. When he begins to pull, you're not being dragged each and every way. You're standing. And now he has got to flee because you are dangerous to him. Amen. And there's nothing that he can do. He only wins when we fail to realize who we are. Amen. Yes. Now, the second part of this, our second step, is that we have to recognize the gravity that we're defying. Because you see, as long as the things that are holding us back, as long as we're not aware of what it is that's holding us back, as long as we're not aware of those thoughts that keep us from being all that we can be, as long as those thoughts are there and we're not aware, we're not being honest with ourselves about what they are, then they're going to keep holding us back. If we don't realize that because God said we are. If we don't realize that because God said we can,